So earlier this year, I listened to a book by Patrick Bet David called Your Next Five Moves. And in this book, the first chapter, move one, is called Who Do You Want to Be? Now, since I have listened or read this chapter, the impact on my life has been profound. It's a question that every day I wake up, every day I breathe, I think about. So much so, those who are a part of this journey with me in terms of my business, um, my way of thinking, my personal philosophy, have also been impacted by this one question because I ask it so much. Who do you want to be? That whole question has shaped the way that I see my life, the perspective that I have life, because life is one ball of perception or perspective, and perception is everything. It changes a lot in your mind when you start to think about what are you currently doing and how that aligns with who you want to be. It was a question that I never really grasped, or really, it was a question that I never really grasped until I listened to that book. And it just goes to show you the impact that a piece of literature can have on your life. Someone that I've never met, yet they've been able to influence my life every hour, every minute of the day, where I sit and I ask myself that question. Who do I want to be? There are many times since then, there has been many times since then, since I read that book, that I've sat down, I've sat and I've looked at what I'm currently doing at that very moment, and I ask myself, does this align with who I want to be? And the purpose of this video is to simply ask you, the listener, that same very question. Who do you want to be? Is what you're doing on a day-to-day basis aligning with who you want to be or who you want to become? And my best friend, Kevin Redondo, he gave me an even better insight. After many countless times asking him that simple question, yo, brother, who do you want to be? Are you doing what you set out to be? Or like, are you operating on a day-to-day basis aligning with the higher Kevin that he wants to be? And he said, you know what, John? I love that question, but I think an even better question would be, who do I not want to be? What is the worst version of myself? Can I imagine a version where I can't even look in the mirror? And we started to get into that conversation and we broke down piece by piece. Yeah, you know what? That kind of makes sense. If I start looking and I start crossing off all the things that I don't want to be, who I want to be starts to look a little more clear, if that makes sense. So we started going down the list of people, persons that we would not want to be. And just to give you a little bit of insight, the listener, to you, the listener, I personally did not want to be a drug addict, someone who smokes a lot of marijuana, someone who has to rely on external sources to motivate or influence their day-to-day lives. That was just my personal philosophy, my newfound philosophy, because of my past experiences. I didn't want to be someone who makes excuses. I didn't want to be someone who lives a life without every second being unpurposeful, without living in harmony with God, or what I perceive to be the all-seeing power. It's a very, it's very, it gets a lot easier to determine who you want to be if you first ask yourself the question, who do I not want to be? What is that version of myself that I will look in the mirror and I'll just be appalled. I will be so disgusted in myself that I can't stand to live with it. And you start going down that list. Okay, thing by thing, person, version by version by version by version. And then soon you're left with the good things about yourself, the person that you would want to be. Now, that I would only recommend that for someone who's having a hard time not understanding who they would want to be. I, for one, I didn't have a hard time understanding, but my brother brought up that question to me, so it opened my mind to a different form of viewing that question, or something that's very similar to that question. So now I want to ask you again, the listener, who do you want to be? Is what you're doing on a day-to-day basis aligned with said character? And if you never asked yourself that question, let this video be that landmark, that change, that your next 5 moves moment that I had. Let this video be that for you. Maybe you were meant to watch this video to sit down and ask yourself, okay, who do I want to be? Is what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis aligned with that I'm trying to become? That version of myself that dominates any industry, that dominates life, whatever I want to be. And I'm going to put this on the record. The person that I want to become is, I want to have my name inscribed in the Business Hall of Fame, if that makes sense. I want to be remembered as one of the great titans of business, one of the greatest American titans in all of business. I want to be remembered as a great man, as a man of God. That's who I want to be. And that's just a glimpse of who I would want to be. There are many things that you can be. You don't have to just be one. If you want to be a good man, you can be a good man. You can also be a good businessman. There's a lot of things you can be. There's also a lot of things that you shouldn't want to be. So that's where that other question, who do I not want to be, might come in handy. So before I end this video, for the last time, you have to really drill this into your head so you can really think about it every day. That's why I've repeated it almost 4 times already. I'm going to ask one last time to the listener, who do you want to be? Write that down on a journal and look at it every day. Put it in the comment section of this video, so you can look at this as a reference from a year, 2, 3, 5 years from now and be like, oh, that very person that I was aiming to be, I've become that. And now I've surpassed even what I thought I would become. I've surpassed that by 2-fold, 3-fold. I am an even greater person than I thought I would ever be. Who do you want to be? Thank you.